It's going to be quite the interview. I mean, it feels really weird for me to say this, but you are an enemy combatant.
Russian generals was completely confused by this situation. We were destroyed. The whole field was covered with corpses.
Row after row of fresh graves. Wagner mercenaries killed in the last few months.
You're here in France seeking asylum. I'm just curious if you have anything to say to Putin.
I was in prison in Krasnoyarsk in Siberia.
You fought in a skirmish in Syria against 40 US soldiers, Special Forces soldiers, and I'm friends with a couple of those guys and heard their account.
Wagner boss Yevgeny Prigozhin has not been shy about his losses, releasing video of himself surveying body bags behind the front lines around New Year.
Were there any tactics involved, like room clearance, entering a building?
Demon-possessed people.
Demon-possessed people.
Demon-possessed people.
There's this factory that Marat is talking about called Conoco, which is sort of the crown jewel of all the assets. It's valued in the hundreds of millions of dollars. He saw the black waters of the world and he said, okay, I want to do kind of my version of this. And it so happened that Syria was going to be the next opportunity for him to do so.
After we received the weapon, we take a part in several military action and demonstrated the whole superiority over enemy.
Another guy, Dmitry Utkin, who is a former GRU officer, Russian military intelligence. He fought in Chechnya. And they sign an agreement whereby Utkin will provide the tactical knowledge, provide the men as contractors, and Prigozhin will provide the political backing and the financial support for this mercenary group.
Of course, the whole superiority over the Bashar Assad army. Prigozhin was convinced that American forces were not involved.
Prigozhin himself is not always on the same page as the Ministry of Defense and Minister of Defense Shoigu. Wasn't allowed to have actual soldiers, and so he gets the convicts. And so he shows up at these Russian penal colonies, and they gather all the prisoners into the prison yard. And he comes in his helicopter, and he comes in and he speaks in front of all of the prisoners, and he says, you know, I have an offer for you. You can come and fight for me for 6 months, and if you survive, you're a free man and your criminal record is expunged.
What were you doing that close to American forces?
This factory enclosed all infrastructure of the oil field nearby.
Like, why did Prigozhin want to take these Conoco facilities? So Prigozhin wants this. And he's sending letters, too, to the Syrian government saying that they're not upholding their end of the bargain. He had the permission by like a wink and a nod from the presidential administration. when the Ministry of Defense does it, Russian Parliament officially makes it legal for them to recruit from prison. So there's always a way that Prigozhin can get screwed over in whatever he's doing. Whereas the Russians want to go try and meet up with the Americans as they're closing in on ISIS, as the territorial caliphate is kind of crumbling down.
You shot him.
Shot him. And I was sentenced to 3 years in prison.